Hey there, it's another holiday weekend. It's our next to last full 3 or 4 day weekend of the year until we get to Christmas, at which point all heck breaks loose. So let's get started with this week's show. Hey there, welcome to the show. My name is Les Solgrove. This is Simply Des Moines Weekly Market Update, the show where we talk about the Des Moines and Central Iowa real estate market. And it is Thanksgiving weekend. I hope everybody's had a wonderful time with family and friends and got your fill of football. Yes, Iowa State lost, Iowa lost, even Ohio State lost. Sorry to all the fans of those great schools. But hey, we're going to move forward with what's going on this year. So let's jump right in and look at the Week 47 dashboard. This is kind of what's been happening in the real estate market this past year. You'll notice here that we talked last week about existing homes and new homes kind of flip-flopping, and it happened this week. We now have more new homes on the market than we do existing homes. Now that might switch back this week just because it was a holiday week and homeowners are maybe holding off listing their homes this past week. So it's very possible we'll see a surge in new listings in the existing home category. But as of week 47, we are indeed behind new construction when we compare it to existing homes. So 3.8 months of inventory, that's on the rise this past week as well. 13.4 months of that is new home construction, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. In fact, let's just jump right into today's topic. We're looking back at comparing last year to this year as of Thanksgiving weekend. So this is kind of a major checkpoint in our market, and I just thought it would be kind of interesting. I created special graphics just for this week's show. And yeah, I know I kind of talked about last week. We talked about setting expectations for the end of the year. If you haven't watched that, please go back and do watch that. You can go to Des Moines Market Values .com and pull up last week's video. In fact, you can see all the videos from previous weeks. But be sure and hit that show because it really kind of shows us maybe some of the trends. This week we're going to talk about just kind of where we are versus last year. So it's similar but yet not the same. So to give you an idea, let's jump in and we'll talk first about median list price. The median list price here, on 2021 is in the left column there, and 2022 is in the green column with a plus or minus, showing you where we are ahead or behind this past year. The overall median list price a year ago is $314,800. This year it's $345,500. Largely, I've always said all year long, largely driven by new construction. But man, when you start to look at this, look at that our existing home sales, our existing home inventory, currently at $279,000 is our list price, median list price versus $205,000. That's $74,000 higher than a year ago. You'll see in a second that doesn't necessarily translate into higher sale prices, but it's certainly causing our median list price to rise, even though new construction is up by over $36,000 from a year ago. The interesting one there on the far right on the bottom is new condo townhomes list prices are down about $11,000 versus last year. So kind of an interesting number to look at there. Median sale price. So I said, let's go back for a second. $279,000 was the median list price for existing homes, and the existing homes last year were listed at $205,000. If we look at median sale prices for this year, this is where it shows you that there's a lot of sellers out there still either thinking or believing that the market is really, really high in pricing and that pricing continues to rise, when in fact the closed sales are coming in quite lower. They're coming in at $240,000, which is only a $2,000 bump over the same time last year. So you feel like you're buying existing homes. Pricing may look higher, but the actual price point of the homes that are selling are closer to what we saw last year. Thanksgiving weekend compared to last year, for the months of inventory, we have doubled the overall months of inventory. We're at 3.8 months at 1.9 a year ago. That's exactly a double for that. 2.2 months for existing homes. We've doubled that at 1.1 months over the previous year. The rest of them there are changing quite a bit. If you look at the new homes, we're at 13.4 months of inventory versus 6.2 from last year. So it's just kind of all over the place. I will say that the overall trend there is all positive. The only one that's kind of holding close to last year was our existing condo townhomes, but also the inventory levels are much lower there. Our days on market this year, just starting to, at this time of year, it's starting to creep up a little bit in the existing inventories. Only a couple, 2 or 3 days on market difference for those, but man, when you get into the new construction homes, look at this one down here at the bottom at 100 days on market for new construction condos, and maybe that's one of the reasons why that pricing is being dropped. They're seeing a bunch of inventory out there that is maybe it's just not selling as fast. So 59 more days on the market this year than it was last year. That would certainly cause builders to make a correction there. Looking at the counts of new homes for sale. The other was the list price. Now we're going to look at the number of homes for sale. We know that our inventory has been on the rise all year. In fact, across all categories, either all homes and then the sub 4 categories, you can see we're in the positive numbers on the right there. The only one that's really kind of holding close to last year's existing condo townhomes. Only 3 homes for sale more this year at this time than we were at last year. So that inventory level is pretty steady. New construction 341, 343 more homes in the existing homes count. So these graphics are going to be good for you when you're out talking to clients, talking to home sellers and buyers, saying the market is not as bad off as it looks. Pull these graphics down from DesMoinesMarketValues.com. The annotations are not on them, so you can just see them as they are, and you can mark them up however you choose when you're talking to them. But this is some powerful information for you. Homes in the sale pending status. This one is really, really a telltale of the type of market we're in. A year ago, we had 2,800 homes under contract, 2,871 to be exact. As of today on Sunday, this is November 27th, we're recording, we're only at 1,680 homes under contract. So almost 1,200 homes fewer in the closing process this year at this time than we were last year. New construction is second to existing homes in the subcategories. 702 existing homes fewer under contract than we had a year ago, and 385 for new construction. The number of homes sold. So this is year to date as of November 27th. So as November 27th of 2021, we were sitting at 15,854 homes sold. Right now we're at 14,387, so we're 1,467 homes away from keeping pace with last year. And that number has traditionally been, this last fall has been spreading as we move week to week. So it's getting a little bit farther apart. We're just, because we have fewer homes in sale pendings, obviously we're not closing as many. The existing homes here at 9,896 closed year to date. That's again 1,164 fewer than a year ago at this same time. The last slide here of the show tonight, mortgage interest rates. We can't talk about looking back at last year without looking at mortgage interest rates, and this one is a graphic that you've probably seen before. It shows you month by month where the interest rates were this year versus last year. And last year they were ending the year pretty close, right at that 3.1% mortgage interest rate. And this year, even though November ended up after the election, November has dropped down. I think we have peaked our mortgage interest rates. Everything that NAR had said at the convention in Orlando, and everything I'm reading and hearing online about the national rates, we're believing that it's quite probable that interest rates have peaked and they will eventually settle. sometime early spring, probably around that 5.5% rate is kind of the target number that we're hearing most frequently. So 5.5%, 6% is not a bad rate. We're at 6.58. This is national mortgage interest rates from Freddie Mac, and I know locally, I say this every time, I know locally there are currently rates out there below 6% right now, 6 and 6, maybe 5.875 out there from local mortgage lenders. So this is the national average for the country, and local rates will vary. So when I say we'll be down around 5.5%, I think that number is what we'll see nationally. I think locally we'll actually be closer to that 5% as we move into the spring market. And so anyway, that's some good news for the week. It's guys, it's kind of a short show, which you just got to appreciate because I've eaten too much turkey. It's time for me to head off here, and we will talk to you all again next week. Remember, go to DesMoinesMarketValues.com to catch all the show graphics. You can download them each week, as well as catch up on previous YouTube videos, and hit the like button while you're there on the YouTube video. And of course, please subscribe. I'm almost at 500 subscribers. I'd love to hit 500 plus subscribers here before we get through the end of the year. I think we'll do that. But thanks again for watching, and we'll all talk to you again next week.